Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back. So today I'm going to be sharing something with you guys that I have been keeping from you for a few months. I've been getting a lot of questions asking, am I still single? Am I dating? Am I in a new relationship? I don't know, am I giving off vibes or if you guys just know me too well, but I thought I would do a little story time / relationship update because this story is a story, if you ask me. Like, literally, like, you could not write this shit. So your girl is in a new relationship, and it is with somebody from my past. So I thought it would be interesting to share that story with you guys. And also for anybody who is currently going through a breakup or is heartbroken, like, even to just look at me and see, like, how much has changed for me in a matter of months. Do you know what I mean? And how a breakup is often a breakthrough. It's not a breakdown. And that is also a big reason as to why I really wanted to share this story with you guys, because when I got out of my relationship last year, I genuinely was in the mindset that, like, I just wanted to and would be single for a very long time. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and I truly believe that we're always at the point in our lives where we're supposed to be. I don't believe that anything happens coincidentally. I'm sorry. I just feel like if somebody's meant to be in your life, they will be in your life. Full stop, end of, no questions asked. That's how I feel. So yeah, okay, let's go. Before we dive on into the story time, I'm a little bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I just quickly want to show you guys some of the outfits that Fabletics dropped this month. As you guys know, I am a brand ambassador, so today's video is in collaboration with them. I am weak, absolutely weak for this set, which is from the Kevin and Aniko Hart collection. It's like a nude two-piece cycling short set, and it is the most flattering thing on. If I could recommend one thing from this video, it would be this set. It is unreal, like literally gives you boob jobs, gives you a bum lift, like honey. I actually wore it with a lime green little shirt and a little lime green handbag, and we had a picnic in my garden one of the evenings, and it was actually so cute, and I felt so good. Like, I felt like dressed up but also comfy and casual. Do you know what I mean? This month Fabletics are offering 50% off all single items. Yes, I said it, all single items for new VIPs. So if you have not yet signed up to the VIP membership, I would highly recommend you do so. I will leave the link down below in my description box. I personally have just recently gotten myself back into working out, and my Fabletics sets are literally what gets me from the bed to the place where I need to work out. Knowing I have something that I can put on that I feel good in and I feel confident just makes the world a difference of getting me to the workout. Do you know what I mean? It gives me that little push and that little motivation. I'm like, okay, I feel good, I can do this, I can get them endorphins running. I feel like this summer we're going to be spending a lot more time outside than we ever have before, so if you would like to pick yourself up some cute activewear and save a bunch of coin at the same time, I'll leave the link down in my description box for you guys to check them out. They literally have everything and anything and are such a size inclusive brand. Yeah, thank you Fabletics. And with all that said, let's get on to this story time, the secret I've been keeping from you guys. I'm such a little sneaky girl. Okay, so we might as well start from the very beginning. So take it back, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware, I went through a breakup last October. So I was living with my ex in Dublin, and once we broke up I moved back home to Roscommon, where I currently am now. And I don't know if I've said it or not online, but I went through that breakup months before we physically broke up. So mentally I went through the breakup a long time before it was actually, you know, finished. It was a very unhealthy relationship. It was very toxic. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but yeah, mentally I had checked out. I physically and mentally couldn't deal with what was going on in the relationship, and also trust had been broken in the relationship literally within the first like 3-4 months. So if, you know, add that into the equation, it was just a bit of a shit show, you know. And I've personally learned that if somebody breaks my trust, it's gone. Like, I try to get it back, it's not going to come back. Once someone breaks my trust, that's it. So the long and the short of it was, I was very unhappy in the relationship. Like, in the last number of months I was literally crying every day. Like, I just felt very stuck, because technically I was very stuck in the situation that I was in. So yeah, come around October we actually break up. But I feel like I had gone through a lot of the emotions of the breakup by that time. So I moved home, and, you know, I was processing the breakup and going through all the emotions as you do. I don't know the best way to explain this, but when I moved home after the breakup, it was more of a sense of relief at that point, because the relationship was causing me a lot of pain, like internally, that it was kind of like I felt safe and I felt at peace, which wasn't something that I had ever felt in the relationship. So that's that situation, okay? And now we're going to move on to the next situation. So my current boyfriend now, his name is Dermot. So me and Dermot go back a long time. So me and Dermot actually went to school together. So take it back 9 years ago. I was 14 and he was 16. So he was 2 years ahead of me in school. So 9 years ago we started talking, yada yada yada. We had our first kiss. So when I was 14, kissed him for the first time. That was it. Like, you know, like when you're a child, like you'll be talking, or teenager, and you'll like have little things like that. So yeah, that was that. So then we went our separate ways for about 4 years. I got into my first ever relationship. He got into a relationship. That was that. And then after both of them relationships ended, we kind of, you know, started talking a little bit, confiding in each other. Like, we confided in each other quite a lot, and like we're kind of there for one another quite a bit. So then when I was 18 and he was 20, I was working in a newsagent's in our hometown. So he used to come in and into the shop all the time when I was working. So basically, like, you know, he'd be there like kind of like flirting with me, we'd be messing, whatever. And like if customers would come in, he would always wait. Like, he wouldn't leave if a customer left. Like, he'd wait so when they went he could continue like talking to me. So yeah, he started coming in and out of the shop, and then we started talking again. So at this point I'm 18, he's 20, and we started seeing each other for a couple of months. Now this time around, now it was very apparent the first time around, the chemistry and like just everything, like the compatibility and all, but obviously we were so young. But this time around, like, it was like fireworks, like it was like just so I can't even explain it. So we were seeing each other for a couple months. This would have been the first time like we would have slept together, etc. And then he fucked up. I was hurt and I cut ties, but bearing in mind we both had a lot going on in our personal lives, and we were both obviously very immature, like 18 and 20, you know, that's the ages you're trying to figure so much out. So bearing in mind all of that, after we cut ties, he then reached out about a year later, saying that he really wanted to explain what had happened before, and that it's not what it seems, and that he was really sorry, and like, you know, could we just meet up and chat, etc. And I obviously wasn't having any of it because I was afraid of getting hurt again. Like, I didn't want to get hurt again. Even though like I was so drawn to him and I had such like a soft spot, like any time he would reach out I would, you know, reply and respond, but like I was just afraid. So then fast forward on about another year, I get into a relationship with my ex, and in the first maybe 3 months of being in the relationship with my ex, Jeremy had reached out to me maybe twice, asking like could we go for a coffee and chat, like, you know, again wanting to explain. Bearing in mind this was years later. Obviously I showed the messages to my ex boyfriend, didn't reply, you know, that was that. And then we fast forward on to December 2019. I was out for the Christmas, it was the 23rd of December, and I was out with my ex and bumped into Dermot. And Dermot, again, like obviously we were both drunk, but he was saying to me that again, like, could we please talk one of the days, that like he wanted to explain that there's so much I don't understand, yada yada yada. And I was like, you know, listening and completely heard him out, but you know, I was like, look Dermot, like I'm in a relationship, like I'm completely committed, like, you know, that was that, like it was left there. Told my ex-boyfriend, and yeah, all good. Then we roll around to October, where I had my breakup and I moved home. So obviously moved home, and I cannot tell you how much of like the mindset I was in. Like, I've never been in so much of a mindset of I am not interested in anyone, I'm not talking to anybody, I am staying single for minimum 2 years. Like literally I'd said it to the closest people in my life, my family. Like, it was a very strong feeling I had, and there was no other way about it. Because to me, it was like the next relationship I get in is going to be the one. That is going to be the person I marry. That is going to be the person I have kids with. Like, I am not settling anymore. I am not being treated any way than I fucking deserve to be treated. I'm just not having it. And that was my mindset. And I was like, obviously, you know, to find that person, it's gonna take, it's you know, it's not gonna happen. So I wasn't even thinking about like, you know, a relationship or anybody or anything like that. But in my head I was like, I know that that's gonna come to me. Like, I know that person, my person, is out there. Like, I wasn't in the mindset of like, I'm gonna be alone forever, like nobody's gonna ever love me. Like, I wasn't in that mindset. I was very much like, you know, I know my person's out there, and I am going to find them one day when I'm meant to find them. Okay, anyways, right, I'm rambling now. Okay. About 6 or 7 7 weeks after moving home, I get a text from Diarmuid, and the text basically said something along the lines of, hey, I watched your, I'm really not okay video. So he's basically reaching out about the YouTube video I posted saying I'm really not okay, the one where I spoke about my mental health. Bearing in mind, like mental health and like our struggles and stuff had been something that we had spoke about with each other on and off over the years. Like we had been there for each other at different points in our lives. So yeah, he sent me just like a really nice message saying, hey, I watched your I'm really not okay video. Basically just saying that if I ever wanted someone to talk to, that he was there, yada yada yada. And then at the end of the message he just wrote, I hope I'm not stepping on your boyfriend's toes. So I obviously then replied like being like, thank you very much, I really appreciate it, and then just saying that there's no boyfriend's toes to step on, that we had broken up a number of weeks ago, whatever. So yeah, then we started chatting like back and forth. I was obviously like in quite a low place, I suppose, when we started chatting, and I was being like super open with him about that, because like in my head, as I said, I wasn't interested in that, and so like this was like solely like a friend, like he was my friend, like, and he had been there for me at times before, so like he was somebody that I felt very comfortable speaking to, and I don't feel very comfortable speaking to many people about like my deepest, darkest thoughts in my head. There's a very small amount of people that you feel like you can talk to about that kind of shit. So all of this happened in December, and then obviously he asked if we wanted to meet up again. He said that like he really wanted to explain to me what happened before, that he never got to explain to me, or we never got to have a chat about it. So we were talking for maybe like a week or something, in December as well, just so nobody goes crazy. Our restrictions were eased, so like you were able to meet up with people from other households for a period of time in December. But yeah, anyways, when we met up for the first time, like again, he was saying how he really wanted to explain everything that happened years ago, and that was really important to him, because he said it was something that like he never really got over. So I met him, and we talked, like we had a really good chat, and like completely understood like everything that happened years ago, whatever, yada yada yada. And then we started like hanging out, and to me, as I said, like it was a solely like friend thing. Like there wasn't like, we weren't being intimate, like we weren't having sex or anything like that. And yeah, we started basically hanging out constantly, and the chemistry, the compatibility, the feelings, the everything, like you couldn't ignore it. Like I couldn't ignore it. And I just remember one day after being with him for the day, just coming home, and I was just crying, because I was like, I have never felt like this before, but it's such like it was a feeling of like comfort and safety, and like like right. Do you know when something feels right? Like for example, in my previous relationship, something never felt right. Like there was always something that I couldn't put my finger on, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will know what I mean. It just, in my gut, in my heart, I knew it wasn't right. Like I knew it wasn't a right relationship for me. Like I just had a little lippy top up, little bit of ishka. I'm leaving so many details out, fuck's sake. Yeah, okay, so hanging out every day, and then officially, like he was so understanding, because like at the beginning, like I was being very clear on like how it was just like a friends thing, and like he was completely okay with that and so understanding, and he was so like on my like working with me, do you know what I mean, on like how I felt, and he wasn't pushing me or pressuring me into anything whatsoever, and you fucking should never be pressured or pushed into anything. And then, as I said, the chemistry, the compatibility, like I couldn't deny how I fucking felt anymore. And this boy, this man, like going back years ago, like I was so hurt over what happened years ago, only because of how I felt. Do you know what I mean? Like I had so many feelings for him, and I even remember like at times over the years, like going back, reading over our messages and stuff, and just kind of like, he was always somebody who was in my head, like in the back of my head somewhere. Like I often always thought of him, and yeah, so then come December 23rd was when he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said yes. And basically he moved in then with me, because we went back into a lockdown, so our choice was to either move in together or not. So our relationship did pretty much, like it literally went from 0 to 100. Yeah, so we're living together now, and we are planning on going travelling next year, hopefully pending like everything with COVID and stuff. But when I tell you, right, I lived with my ex in Dublin for a whole year. I've spent more time with Dermot in the last 4 months than I spent with my ex living with him for a whole year. Like, you know, like I cannot tell you how happy I fucking am. And like, you know, I just feel like this is so important, like for anyone, like as I was saying at the start of the video, if you're going through heartbreak, if you're going through breakup, this is happening for a reason. I truly believe my last relationship was so I could learn a lot of shit that I needed to learn. Not only about what the person I want to be with, like for my life, but also about myself. Like there were things I learned about in my last relationship that I've really learned, like, do you know what I mean? And that in return then is going to make my current relationship so much better. So like that's what I mean by trying to take a positive out of a shit situation. Like if you're currently heartbroken or upset, or you're like, fuck you for leaving me, just know that one day you're going to look back and be like, it all makes sense now. Because me, right, back in October, do you think I knew? I was like, what the fuck, like what is going on? I moved my whole life up to Dublin, like everything's a shit show, blah blah blah. But like now, literally fast forward on a number of months, and now I'm with somebody. I have never felt so secure, so safe, so appreciated and loved, and like he's the same, and like it just feels so right. Like it feels so right, like we're on the same page. Literally everything, like our communication is so good, and like a lot of it does come down to like actually being with somebody who suits you, and like, you know, where you balance each other out, because like we literally make each other better people. In any relationship I was in the past, they brought out the worst of me. Like they brought out the actual worst in me, and that is such a red flag. Like it's such a red flag. Like the person you're with should bring out the best of you. Like you should, like, you know, bring each other up higher and not bring each other down lower and fucking knock each other on the ground every time. That is not a relationship. That is not love. I genuinely thought at one point last year that I was asking for too much in a relationship. Genuinely, okay? Bearing in mind all I'm asking for is like very basic shit, right? And since I've gotten into a relationship with Dermot, like he has made me realise, like at the beginning, like I suppose it's still even happening now a little bit, like really small things, like for example, like if I was eating in my ex's car and I got crumbs everywhere, like he'd fucking shout at me and go mad. And like I remember at the start with Dermot, like if I was eating something in the car, I'd be like, and crumbs would spill, I'd be like, I'm so sorry, and he'd be like, what are you saying sorry for? It's fucking car, get over, clean it up, like, you know. Or if I'd be asking him to go into the shop, I'd be like, I'm feeling really anxious, can you please go into the shop? He'd be like, of course I'm going to the shop for you, why are you acting like it's such a big thing? Like I remember he said to me, he was like, Jessica, you are so appreciative and so grateful for the smallest things, and that's clearly because you've never just been given the smallest things. And it's like, you know, we basically got into a relationship, and you know, it was so easy, do you know? And that's what I'm trying to get at, is like it should be easy. Like obviously relationships, there's going to be challenges and difficulties and hard times, but for the most part it should be easy and fun, and a place that you look forward to going to, not a place that you're dreading going to because you're probably going to come out feeling worse. I really just wish I listened to my gut a lot sooner than I did. Like I knew something wasn't right. If you know something doesn't feel right, if you're not feeling X, Y, and Z, if you're fucking hurting more than you're not, like all these things are indicators that it's not right, and that isn't how it should be. It's not how relationships should be. And I just really, that is kind of the point I wanted to get across with today's video, because I have shared, you know, you guys saw me in Dublin, you saw me moving my life up, you saw me fucking doing a breakup playlist, like you've seen it all, do you know what I mean? And I want you to look at me and know that like this will happen for you too. Like, you know, it's just crazy to me how someone like one day can go from like not being in your life to literally a handful of months later like being one of the most fucking important people in your life. Like he is genuinely my best friend, and I fucking love him to bits. Like I love him so much. I've never felt like this before. And yeah, so your girl is in a new relationship. I honestly, it was making my life very hard keeping it from you guys, because we are living together now. I'm with him pretty much like a lot of the time, and it was making things just difficult. Like it was so hard to keep it, and I didn't want to keep it from you guys. So yeah, that's my little story time. I hope you guys enjoyed, and also don't forget to click the link down below for Fabletics if you would like to sign up to the VIP membership. Unreal deals, guys, unreal fucking clothes, you'd be mad not to. But yeah, I love you guys, and I cannot wait to see you all in my next video.